Welcome back to another episode of I Am Black Redefined. With me today is Miss Porsche. How are you?
Yes, ma'am. I am good. How are you doing?
I am doing exceptionally well. Now, you are the owner of Esthetics by P. Brown Salon. It's a full-service spa. How did you get to opening your own spa, Porsche?
Girl, God. I know that sounds horrible, but I literally was working as a nurse at Vanderbilt. I had grade 2 acne and eczema. And I tell everyone, grade 2 are those whiteheads that wink at you when you walk by someone, you know, they're like, you see me, shorty.
Right, ain't going nowhere.
And yes! And can you imagine, like, I'm going in like, I'm going to help you. And like, my skin is peeling, my acne is winking at them. And so I literally went to school to take care of my skin, came out with 30 clients. My mind frame then was like, I'm gonna get a single treatment room. I ain't gonna let no money pass me by. 7 years.
Wow.
25,000 clients, 5 countries and 49 states later.
Ma'am.
Here we are.
Oh my goodness.
So it's God.
Nothing but. And then your talent too behind that. But that's amazing to leave Vanderbilt.
Girl, you should have seen my face when they told me I could replace my salary. I was like, wait, what?
Right. Like, this is doable.
I could do this? Okay, then.
So, I mean, 7 years of business. I mean, I know you've definitely evolved over the years, as you said, started with one room. What type of services do you offer?
So we offer every type. I'm very much a component of listening to my clients. And so right now we're at hair, natural, as well as units. I have specialists for both. We do body contouring and treatments, acupuncture, chiropractic services. We do yoni steams, skin, body, everything you need, full body waxing. We offer. So we try to cater to the mind, body, and the spirit. And we try to do it in a way where you feel like you're visiting your girlfriend and not like, you know, you've walked into a spa, I don't know, I have, and you felt like even though I can afford it, people are judging me for being here.
Right. But it's like, but I need you though. Like,
but
I'm here.
I'm here for a reason. Or you go for a facial and you're like, I need something for my hyperpigmentation, and they pull from a patent book. And the esthetician don't know if that's for you or not. She just knows this is what the people say I have to use. So we wanted you to get a customized experience that up until recently people thought were only for the stars.
Right.
We wanted you to feel comfortable and relaxed so it's not a chore to come. And I wanted to meet all the needs that people needed, whether they knew it or not.
So it's all encompassing, like you said, mind, body, soul.
Everything. Girl, we even do meditative prayer here. Like literally. I'm an ordained minister. My energy worker is an ordained minister. So you'll be surprised how many women go, I just need a quiet space and I need you to show me how to be still enough to hear God's voice. And we're like, well, queen, let's go. You know what I mean? And so that's and seeing godly women who look like everyday women, not, you know, let me adjust my church hat.
Right.
Go into that is thou, art thou.
Right.
Like,
Thus thou.
Yes. Let me get you a relationship.
Right.
And so the community has answered, and it's been humbling because I genuinely believe like this is me being intentional with the situations God has given me. Girl, I'm in awe of this every day. Like, I am not even gonna lie. We went from one room to now I own the building. Like, you know what I mean? It's a lot going on.
That's a testimony in itself. And I think one of the things that I love personally about you is that with everything you have received, with everything you've been given, been blessed with, you are always reaching back and bringing others up. And I know we briefly, before we started, we were talking about the new Incubation Center. So share with us a little bit, if you can, about what we can expect with that.
You know, I often hear women tell me, especially here in business, oh, well, you got this because of these things, or like you had opportunities I don't have. If only I could get a seat at the table, right? I know I'm a minister, but I hope they don't judge me for this. Why do you have to beg for a seat at the table? Build the table. God gave you trees, as you know, Bishop Walker say, pray for him to give you the tools to carve that tree into the table. And I think that's where we want to go with our Women's Incubation Center. You perceive a pay gap, but what if I told you you controlled your pay? You have the knowledge, you have the tools. If you can come at these businesses from the bargaining chip of this is what you need, and I'm not gonna beg to give it to you, you'll see the dynamics change. And then the other thing with that is if their perception is it's because I don't have the resources, okay. there's enough for all of us to eat.
Yes.
I'm going to put my resources in the room with you and see what you do with what we're giving you. And I'm going to do it at a place where you don't have to mortgage your house to be a part. We started out, honestly, with the Boss Lady Brunch. That was my tester 2 years ago. Okay. And we had almost 100 women sign up. It was so big that we were doing it at Stony River here in Nashville. We couldn't fit people in the room. Like, I had to refund tickets. And I had my first year. Like, wow. I didn't even advertise. Like, I posted it, I think, on Facebook or something. And I said, I'm bringing my mentors in. Women who get paid thousands of dollars to cultivate and grow Fortune 500s. We're going to sit down and you're just going to pick our brains. That's exactly how I did it. And when I say, girl, the tribe showed up and showed out.
I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, honestly.
And we were expecting to be there for like 2 hours. We were there for 5 hours.
Porsche.
I think they thought the Super Bowl was going. It was like on Father's Day. Girl, I forgot it was Father's Day. So my dad spent Father's Day with all of us in Stony River.
A good dad. Okay.
Yes. But I saw like these women came with pen and pads ready, questions ready. And since then, 2 years ago, I've seen them grow into phenomenal businesses. Debt-free businesses, not afraid to market themselves. Like, now they're not paying to sit at my table and learn. They just sitting at my table. Like, we just brunching. Girl, how business going?
Right.
For real, what your quarters look like? And I think that's important. You can't be scared to look at your finances. You can't be fearful to identify what you don't know, because then you don't know where to go get help. And by all means, stop looking at things that don't work as failures. Like, you don't have failures. They're only learning objectives. And just because it didn't work in that season, don't mean it won't be perfect for your next season. And so, girl, I can't wait for this incubation. I can't wait to see the businesses that come out of it.
Yes. Well, and then again, just the fact that you're taking the time, pulling your resources to pour into other women who you see that they just haven't tapped into that exact thing that they need to tap into to get to that next level. I mean, that's remarkable.
You know, the Bible says, too much is given, much is required. Yes. And oftentimes we look for a handout, but we're not willing to give a hand back. Right. You know what I mean? And so if you collect these resources, but you're not willing to help anyone else out, eventually you're standing at the top, but you by yourself. Exactly. So when we all have life cycles, like, I love my business, I'm grateful for my business, but even it has a life cycle. And when it drops, I don't want to be looking around for someone who could help me. And I'm by myself.
You want to be able to lean on the people that we've all been on this journey going up these stairs together. And, you know, as you said, that life cycle, now you're down here, but we're already arm in arm. So I know that my sister has my back.
Girl, yes! That is it. That is why I call tribe. Yes. Like, anyone who sees our social media, they hear that word repeatedly. Tribe. And maybe you don't need me, but I bet you there's a girl in this tribe who got you. Yes. You know, and I love that. Like, don't give me the smiling girl. They're going to make me cry. Like, my babies make me proud.
It's amazing. And I know you do mentoring as well with young women. I mean, as we talked about, you know, the different life cycles, the challenges you might have faced, what helped you to overcome, and how did you overcome the challenges to get here in 7 years of business, which is, again, congratulations. That's a testament, in itself.
Thank you. You know, twofold, and I'm going to call her out by name. She's probably going to look at this and be like, you did not. But I remember I was at a point. We're twofold. As women, we need to reaffirm each other. You know, my mother always said a true queen will always acknowledge another queen. And I never understood that until one day I was dealing with conflict in the business. And I was so frustrated to be myself, because we talked about, like, people forget there are many different dynamics to being a woman. But unfortunately in business, being a Black woman, you can't be too assertive, because then you're just angry. Right. You can't be too passive, because then you're soft. Like, and I really just, in this situation, I really wanted to take my 2 independent contractors at that moment and be like, both y'all get the, like, I don't need none of y'all. Right. Like, I make enough money for this. And one of my clients who we, you know, in the day spa, most business, you have what we call blank check clients, which means they trust my needs enough to where she don't even care what the check look like. Like, literally, I call her up and be like, boo thing, I got you on the books. You're going to get this, this, and this. She don't even want to know the dollar amount. She just want to know when to show up. Wow. I love her. And she is a younger black woman. She's a headhunter for a Fortune 500. She's very analytical, which I respect, because when she gives it to me, I know it's no emotion. It's just like, this is a situation as you need it. And in that day, she was getting her hair done, going into a facial, and sis, I walked in that facial and sat down and just grabbed my head. And I knew she watched the situation, watched my frustration, and now I was stuck. Like, because 90% of my clients know me, but they don't know me.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't see when I'm stressing or bleeding, because if you're a good businesswoman, your job is to make it look good and make it look easy. And now she's seeing me open, right? And she looked at me and she goes, just say what's on your mind. Go back there and give it to him raw. You own the business. Who gonna check you, boo? And I started laughing. Because I thought that was her thing. Like, who says that and don't expect you to laugh? And then she goes, I think you are a phenomenal woman. I think everything about you is freaking amazing. I don't think you see it. Look, I'm going to cry saying it. She says, I give you permission to go do what you got to do. And trust me when I say, not only will I still be here and be a client, but everyone who symbolizes who I am will not leave you. Your clients stand behind you no matter which face you show. And in that moment, I felt liberated, not just to move my business, however I felt moved. And it took someone who really don't have a second mind, like, what you gonna do? If you stop showing up, the business ain't gonna close.
Right.
But the fact that you were a woman I respected, you saw me both broken and put together, and you gave me permission to be both broken and put together, and said, I'm still gonna give you a blank check. That was the moment that pivoted for me. That, to me, in my head, I heard God go, I created you to be who I needed you to be. Now move the way I need you to move. And I did exactly what I wanted to do. Like, I didn't do it right then and there. I wasn't like, okay, let me grab my Power Ranger suit and go. Yes. From that point on, everything I did, I addressed it head on. I addressed it from the standpoint of, this is who I am. It's almost like a running joke here now. Like, my clients are like, you don't get options. Porsche gonna tell you what you're gonna get. You know what I mean? And not only am I a better person, the business is a better business, but those two people that we were in conflict with, like, are still with us. One is still with us and growing phenomenally. And the other one is a powerhouse and an entity within itself. And has grown and been better. And, you know, John Maxwell has a saying that sometimes when you develop leaders, you gotta either let them lead where they are or release them to lead where they're meant to be. And what I struggle with is releasing one person to lead where they're meant to be while cultivating the other to lead where they are. So that, to me, was pivotal, because you have a lot of black women who want to be business owners, and they're balancing on the edge of, can I be me, or do I have, especially in the world of social media. Like, can I be me, or do I have to be what the world expects me to look like? And do you want spectators, or do you want people who are invested in you? That is where my mind frame was. So yeah, that girl, and she was on the panel at the first. In fact, she's gonna be at this one somewhere, but that was pivotal for me. I don't think we would have made it, and that was probably year 4. Year 4 was when we were trying to figure out who we were. As a company, as a businesswoman, like, who are we and how are we gonna define? And having that client that represented my belief of what the perfect client was, give me permission to do so. And so, yeah, it was people see me do it now. I'll speak at events and I'm like, you have my permission. And you see people go, okay. And in my head, I'm thinking, these people don't know me. I don't know what they need my permission
That's what
for.
they needed at that time. That is what they need at that time, to hear that and to hear it from someone, you know, that they look up to and admire. I think.
I think we all need that. Like, we need to understand it doesn't have to be backbiting. It doesn't have to be a rat race. Like, the beauty industry is projected to be something like $2 trillion industry going into 2020. There's not enough breath in my body to eat $1 trillion in services. Like, so why not position myself and the women who have like-minded goals so that we can each carve a piece of the pie? Now you're not building a business, you're building an empire. And you know, it goes to that wealthy or poor mentality. The wealthy man has an empire to pull off of. Super PACs, look at everything political, everything religious. A poor man will break his back to make $1 and forget that you could have made $2 if you let your friend help you with the job. And so, yeah, that's what we're built off of: family, community, and letting people know that the Black business don't have to be Tupac music and roaches on the wall. You know what I mean? Like, we are just as poised, we are just as capable, and we are even better in that when we build a tribe. We build a tribe.
I was like, we build a legitimate tribe.
Girl, you can't even whisper in the streets about us then, because someone's gonna be like, I'm sorry, what'd you say about my girl?
Because I actually know her personally.
Boom.
Have you even met her? You talk about hearsay.
Girl, that has happened. I had one client, and she said she was at the hair salon, and someone's like, I know P. Brown. And she said, I looked at her and was like, don't act like you know Porsche, because the fact that you said P. Brown mean you don't know Porsche. I was like, let her live. Let her live.
Just go ahead and tell her come and get some services. Like, oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Porsche, for sitting down with me today. Every episode I end by asking, how would you say you are Black redefined in 1 or 2 sentences? If you could define it, how would you say?
I'm Black redefined. This is going to sound cliche, but simply because I am my ancestors' dream, and I live it proudly.
Love it. It's simple, but yet so powerful. I feel like with a great punch, and that's beautiful, and it's so true. You definitely are, and I mean, you're doing so many great things in the community. Aside from the good skincare, you know, the holistic approaches to everything, just the incubation center that's coming. I'm very excited about that. The mentoring. Thank you for all that you do, Porsche.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you, and thank you for being a part of the tribe. Like, again, watching the women grow and give birth to dynasties has been the best reassurance I've ever had. So no, thank you.
And thank you all so much too for tuning in to today's episode. Remember, I want you to join in on the conversation. So slide to Twitter, go ahead, that handle is I am Black Redefined, same on Instagram. And make sure you go to our highlights tab and share how you are Black Redefined on your story so you can be reposted on our page. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next week.